Hey guys, what is up? Blue Chair here. Today I'll be explaining CMs. Now bear in mind that this isn't the most comprehensive guide you'll ever see, and nor will you remember everything. However, it should hopefully give you the basics you need to get the times and properly contribute to your team. Let's start off by looking at our gear. Now this is not set in stone, this is just what I personally bring, but you're going to want something along these lines. Naturally, you can downgrade and upgrade items. If you don't have a mace, bring a rapier, abbey dagger, or a hasta. Worth mentioning though is that if you have to drop all the way down to a dragon sword, you're probably not ready in terms of gear yet. You can also bring an arcane spirit shield if you have, swap the scythe for a lance, and so on and so forth. When it comes to the armadillo helmet, it is a good item to have in CMs, but an upgrade from that would actually be using a slayer helm with a lizardman shaman task, and I guess if you're melee head you could also bring a blood fury. Typically, however, at least one person on the team is on the standard spellbook for Fire Surge on Ice Demon. If you are, use either a Kodai or a Harmonized Staff, and of course don't forget your Tome of Fire. Now finally, CM is T-bow content. If you're seriously considering going for times, I would not recommend going without a T-bow, as many of the bosses have an extremely high mage level, and not having one is just not going to be a good time. Tecton is fought normally, except for what you might normally do as a start. One person starts as a lurer, while everyone begins the fight on this tile here. If you're not luring, just stand on this tile ready to spec, and attack Tecton once he starts moving. You do this to try get all specs dumped before Tecton himself can start attacking. And this is how you lure Tecton if that is your role. Simply tag him by running next to him, then run one tile southwest of the orange crystal in the most northern part of the room. By the time he is in front of you and attacking, the rest of your team should have dumped their specs. Crabs done efficiently is a huge time save in CMs. You want to do them in the order of purple, blue, yellow, then black. The first person to enter the room should be wearing a ranged weapon and immediately tag a crab to knock down the purple crab as soon as they can. The second person then runs to the far side of the room and smashes a crab next to the blue crystal, leaving the first person to enter to color it red. During this time, the third member should have entered and can then set up bounce number 1 for the yellow crystal. When the crab for the blue crystal has been smashed, that member then takes the remaining crab, runs with it towards the second bounce for the yellow crystal, leaving the person who first entered the room to shift for the third bounce. For the black crystal, keep the same formation but shift closer to the black crystal. This isn't a perfect example, but it shows the general concepts. In between the two rooms, everyone should be scavving until somebody gets 2 planks. When you've got that, everyone but the prepper can start chopping kindling and light the braziers. While the rest of the team is chopping kindling and getting Ice Demon ready, the prepper should be killing scavs and getting supplies in accordance with this chart. Once you have all these supplies, that is all the scavving you want to do for the rest of the raid. There's nothing really worth mentioning about shamans within challenge mode raids because they work the same as they do in the rest of RuneScape, but since the room is always the same layout, it is worth learning the few safe spots that you can find within this specific room. While the rest of the team goes to do vanguards and thieving, the prepper will start the room by planting 1 Noxfur seed and 1 Bootchu seed. They'll then bank everything they have and start filling vials. You can save some time using Humidify here. Once you've filled enough vials, you want to clean the chest. Now cleaning the chest means removing whatever excess seconds you have and dropping them outside the chest. Now this will be important later. Do some quick maths to see exactly how much Bootchu you need and start picking. Once you have your final batch, start cleaning it and go to the next chest. Keep making potions until you see in your chat box that all of the vanguards have been killed. Once they've been killed, take one last batch and make it on the way to the thieving room. You'll make the rest of your potions there. If you see any potions on the floor on the way, just pick them up. In this clip, I show an example of me actually cleaning the chest while I am the prepper. I take out all of the seconds and then I only put back exactly what we need. I couldn't remember the exact amount in this specific raid, so I put in approximately how much we need. Then I drop the rest of the seconds and I start picking whatever leaves and herbs that we need to make the potions. I pick one Noxifer, I clear it immediately because that's all you need. I place another boot shoe, and then I just pick all the boot shoe that I would need for the rest of the raid for me and my team. This here is just an example of me picking my final batch of boot shoe. So I pick it up and I clean it on the way to the next chest. And at the next chest, I will continue making potions until I see in my chat box that the rest of my team has killed the rest of the vanguards. Once I see that final message, then I can run down and make my final batch. If you are not a prepper, just make your way straight down to vanguards and start the room as soon as you can. If you aren't done with prep as a prepper by the time your team has finished vanguards, join them at the thieving room chest and finish your potions there instead. This is where cleaning the chest is important because the rest of the team then knows exactly how much is missing. While the scavenger beast is eating the grubs in the thieving room, start preparing for the next two rooms, Vespula and Tightrope. Equip your range gear, bring your melee gear, and your staff. Once you have these, you'll need to bring room-specific items. This is your pickaxe, your salve, claws, venge, and a stam. However, you might also need a blowpipe if you're tagging rangers, and telegrab if skipping rope entirely. Try to take your axe out of the chest, because if you forget it at the next, you'll be wasting a lot of time getting a new one because you won't get another chance before Mother Dial. Grab an overload, 5 restores, and a brew or 2, and even a bat if you manage to find them. Vespula always has the same layout, so you can try get Vespula to start without aggroing any of the minions as I just showed you now. In the challenge mode Vespula, learning to start Vespula without scuffed minions is going to help you a lot in the long run, as it allows everyone to just complete the room and attack the portal, making Vespula one of the fastest rooms in challenge mode raids. Now there are several different ways to skip rope. Some kill rangers and tag mages, some do it the other way around, some kill them all, and some skip them all. Since the others are quite self-explanatory, the only footage I've chosen to include is a full skip with telegrab. The only real thing to note from this is the tagging the rangers with a blowpipe, because the T-bow is too slow. Furthermore, the spot that you telegrab from is quite tile specific, so stay on this exact tile that my teammate is standing on when telegrabbing. This next chest is your final chest for the next floor. If you didn't already take your stuff out after thieving, bring your pickaxe, salve, stam, claws, and venge. Also bring an axe if your team is cutting the tree at Mudadal. As for potions, bring an overload, a prayer enhance, 2 restores, and fill the rest of your inventory with brews. There's not much to say for Guardians except for sync up with your teammate and make sure that everyone has Venge. The Venge is important as entering Valsa everyone wants to be Venged at 118 HP. If you do not have Venge, and you need it from a teammate because you're for example on standard spellbook, put your redemption prayer up. Everyone should be Venged and everyone should be exactly 118 HP when starting Vasa. This is to venge as much damage as possible on Vasa. If you get teleported to the outside, do not pray mage when you come to the middle as this will lower the venge damage. Once you reach your crystal, you can choose to claw spec the crystal as this will speed up the room quite a bit. There is one thing that's very much worth mentioning in Vasa, and that is that the range of the T-bow is longer than the range of Vasa's auto attack. As you can see in this clip, I am not getting attacked by Vasa because I am too far away from him. For Mystics, you're going to of course want to be wearing your salve. It is also very good and very beneficial to your entire team if everyone knows the safe spots within the Mystics room. Again, CM always has the exact same layout, so all the safe spots will work every single time. This is an example of 2 different safe spots, and in the next clip I'll show you a few more. Essential wants to know is this one in the southwest corner. One right here in the middle. One over here in the southeast corner. Another one in the southeast corner. And finally there is one at the entrance towards Muradal. Muradal is by far the scariest regular room in CMs. You can easily get one shot from say 90 HP, so do not be afraid to use your brews here. Everything just smacks you. Once you've chopped the meat tree, kill the small Muradal with a scythe, rapier or blowpipe. You do however want to move over to your T-bow when the big Muradal spawns. She hits even harder than small Muradal, but T-bow hits even harder than that. If you're not sure how to cut the tree while attacking Muradal, simply just click the tree, wait for a woodcutting XP drop, and then use your staff to attack Muradal and immediately get back onto the tree. After you've killed Muradal, you're now about to fight Olm. I would highly recommend organizing your inventory so that you spend as little time as possible fiddling about while you're in the chest. However, there's no difference from a CM Olm to a regular Olm apart than it hits harder. Just bring what you would normally bring. Olm hits a lot harder in CMs. With autos off prayer hitting in the high 40s frequently, it's in your team's best interest to be somewhat efficient. You'll also want to set specials to mage side. In other words, you do want to be mage skipping. This is so that the meleeer does not lose out on any DPS, but also if the major gets flame walled while properly skipping, you don't spend any time opening the flame walls and can get the fight over and done with quicker. At the end of each raid, if you complete a CM within the time limit, everyone gets a bonus 5k points. So hopefully you'll see some extra drops. We even got really lucky with the decks during this recording, but I've been fortunate enough to have seen disco lights in CMs. Hopefully, I've managed to help you guys a little. And I hope you all get really lucky and you can see some good drops, kits, and maybe even see some dusts. I wish you all the best of luck and happy raiding.